Well, that'd be my bird, wouldn't it? My bird's got to get a word in edgewise. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba. Harbinger Man is streaming chess. While the advertisements are rolling in, the stream is about part 2 of how and why to play chess, the tools, etc., etc., etc. So, another of the tools that we use to learn how to play chess are books. You know, it seems like that's awful bright, doesn't it, on the other computer? Let me pop this out over here. Yeah, that does seem bright, doesn't it? Let's see if I can fix that. I don't want to be seen. I just want to be heard. Anyway, so yeah, I do discourage playing this game because of this. Here, you know, wait a minute. Where's my streamer thingy? There are tons of books. Like, I got a lot of books. There's these older ones. There's where the hell am I? There's, these are older chess books. I got a bunch of these. There's the Fisher-Spassky book I got. There's another Fisher-Spassky book, The Art of the Middle Game. That's a pretty good book. These are old, They're like as old as me. They're as old as the hills. I'm just taking off this pile because I want to show you something. So there's some more books, winning chess. Look at all of this, So you want to play chess. You want to play chess. I got the nose for you. It is not that easy. Well, actually, so, there's the thick book on the bottom is Nunn's. That's Nunn's book, N-U-N-N. And then there's Traps and Zaps. There's this book here. There's Win at Chess, My 60 Memorable Games. There's a number of books on endings, practical endings. There's Power Mates, The Chess Teacher, the Mammoth Book of Chess. There's not too much in there. And then I got more books in the back. There's this second row of books back here. There's a book called The Complete Chess Course. Now, these books right here, well, before I get into that, so this is called Modern Chess Openings, right here. And as you can see, this is not a thin book by any means. You want to learn chess, this is the way to learn it. This book here shows variations, which I can't see very well. It's using, this uses algebraic notation, which is good. And it shows mainline and variations, and it talks about, the variations, and it has some discussion there. This is a really good book. But so you're thinking to yourself, okay, I want to learn how to play chess, and you're saying to yourself, you mean to tell me I have to I have to learn all of this. I have to learn all of this to play chess. Not if you play chess my way. It's either my way or the highway, or you cannot play at all. Is this working? Hello. So, for example, there was an opening that we talked about yesterday. It was called the ready, which is actually an opening. Or maybe it's a defense. I don't really know because I can't remember that much. Let's see if it's in here. So the ready opening, it's on page 704. It looks like all of that information's on that page. There's references to the Barksa system, the London system, which is what we play, Neo-Catalan, and a reverse Benoni. So there's the Benoni. There's certain lines that we have to know because, like I said in my earlier stream, we talk about the Caracan defense and we talk about the London system, which those are my games. So let's go to page 704. Just as a highlight. And there's Bird's opening. That's the open with B3, I think. You know, I've got to have better lighting in here, because what we're going to do is actually Bird's opening is F4. That's something else. So like even with F4, I play C6. Okay, and C6 is not in here. So that completely takes everything out of book. So like, what's this guy doing, you know? I'm playing to obviously advance on the king side as white, and yet as black, I play C6, which, what is he doing, you know? I should be playing more for the center. I should just open up my pawn structure, you know? But anyway, that's the bird opening. I got a bird in my house. He likes to say a few things. There's the King's Indian. That's actually, it says King's Indian attack, but there's a King's Indian defense. You know, there's all that stuff. Ready opening. Ready opening. English opening. So the English opening, I think maybe that's English opening. So they talk about different main variations, like Rubinstein, Botvinnik, ultra symmetrical, hedgehog defense. These are defenses to the English. Now, there's all of that, but the ready, there's only a couple of pages. We're not going to do the whole thing. I'm just doing this as an example to show you about the book. So it has this discussion here, as you can see. You can't really see that well, but it shows a diagram. It has some opening moves there, incorporating the Barksa system. And then there's these other lines. So there's actually, okay, so this system, the Barksa system, knight f3, d5, white plays c4, incorporating the Barksa system as knight f3, d5, g3, white plays g3 instead. Black plays d5. I could play that, but I would rather play c6. you know, to convert into that. And so there's discussion, which I can't even see because I guess I need glasses now, or a good light. I gotta get reading glasses. I'm getting old. So then the next page, it says knight f3, d5, c4, knight f3, d5, knight f3, d5. That's a main opening line. And then it continues with all of these variations. And it talks about each of the variations in there. Already opening knight f3, d5. Now, they were talking about the London system here in this somewhere. Type of reverse Benoni, Benko, Gambit, this position. I say Benko, Gambit, reversed. Some players like I play, blah, 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 blah. Now I can see this if I've got good light. I don't see a reference to the London system here. Well, anyway, most of the openings that we're going to do are going to be covered in this book, and I'll have a better lighting setup. But it's just, there's just so much. You think to yourself, well, there's Queen's Gambit Decline, there's the Slav defense. The Slav defense itself has many variations. There's the semi-Slav, and there's a main line. The semi-Slav goes to like 9 moves. And then it talks about the Marin Gambit, the anti-Marin Gambit, so on and so forth. The Slav defense is something that I play against. I don't play the Slav defense as a player. I play against it. So that's why I have to learn the Slav defense so that when I play against it, I know the lines and, I can't see nothing out of this book yet. And then now there's the Dutch defense. There's lines in the Dutch defense which versus the London. The Dutch is, white plays queen pawn to d4, and then black plays f something, f4, f5. And if black was stupid, and white played the pawn to king 3, and black plays pawn to king 3, or actually knight to c6, then white can play, no, because that pawn comes out. If white plays the other pawn up in front, then black can just checkmate in one move. It's a crazy kind of mate. But anyway, there's a lot of that in there. Now, these openings and defenses, there's the Bogo Indian is in here. Maybe they've got this separated to queen pawn openings and king pawn openings. But now the Sicilian defense itself, I mean, there's how thick the Sicilian defense is in this book. This is just the Sicilian defense right here, this section. Look how thick this is. It's a crazy game. It's an open game. It's a closed game. It could be anything, My premise is to play this game and play it well. Don't just don't play that. It's crazy. Don't play C5. Don't don't play F5. All right, so these other books that I got, you think that's bad? Here we have what's called a book. It's called My System by Aaron Nimzovich. Here, and this, look how thick this is. All right, so this book has Nimzovich's tournaments. It talks about My System. So it talks about the elements. I can't see the damn thing. Strategic advance of the troops. Exchange with gain of tempo. We talked about that last night. Surrender of the center. When center pawns should be taken. Open files, introductions, obstacles of open files, etc. The 7th and 8th ranks. It looks like he goes into some discussion about that. And we've got the passed pawn, exchanging the elements of endgame strategy, the shelter, the aggressive, the collective advance, materialization of file or rank, pins, discovers, pawn chains, position play, illustrative games. That's... Now, this book is in like figurine type notation, like pawn to knight 5, pawn to rook 5, that type of thing. There's a lot of discussion in this book. I mean, it's just crazy, It's really crazy. And the problem with this, it's nice to study a book like this, okay? And a lot of people, when they learn chess and stuff, they'll get books like this and they'll read all of this and they'll think, well, if I read all that, I'm going to be a good chess player. Wrong. So here we've got 2 of Reuben Fine's books. I only have volumes 2 and 3, it seems. Basic chess endings and the middle game in chess. So evidently I'm missing the opening, which I really don't need because these are older books anyway. So at the middle game, this looks much easier to read than that Nimzovich's book. So here you can see there's a lot more space between the words. There's the diagrams are out there nice, So, and this, of course, is the old notation. We've got elements of combinations, mating attacks, material advantage, superior pawn structure, command of space, superior mobility, cramped positions, attack against the king, the art of defense, continuing the opening, entering the endgame. So there's discussions, there's diagrams. See, the problem with doing this, studying a book like this, is that all these positions are arrived at from opening gameplay, which is your opening. So if you study this, you're actually kind of studying from that position, okay? You're studying it out of context is what you're doing. And I would not go there. Now, the chess endings is a slightly different story. Because this book, now look at this. You've got to see this. This is how thick this book is. This is Reuben Fine's basic basic, mind you, chess endings. Look at the wording, how much wording there is on just that one page, okay? And you want to learn how to play chess, be my guest. So we've got mates, the elementary mates, two bishops, knight and a bishop and a knight, three, we've got king and pawn endings, white and queen by force. This is the bread and butter of chess right here, okay? If you don't know this, you might as well hang up your chess pieces, because you absolutely, if you knew everything in this book, you could say to yourself, I know how to get to a position that's in this book, and if I get into that position, I know I can win, or I can prevent my opponent from winning. A knight and pawn endings, bishop and pawn endings, minor piece endings, which is a knight and a bishop, rook and pawn endings. I hate rook and pawn endings. They are the worst. Rook and minor piece endings. Queen versus two rooks and a piece. There's pretty much everything is covered in this book. But look at this. Okay? Look, if you can see this. Where's this? Look at the wording on this. I know you can't see it. It is extremely difficult to read. Extremely difficult. And so if I were to, because I did do this a few times, I tried to put some of that stuff on, the computer and save it. It's not very easy to do. Now, talking about the openings, you've got black defensive system for the rest of your chess career. Again, there's a lot of material in there. It's crazy. Complete defense to king pawn openings. So I would just go to the moves and the variations that I play, like whatever. It's a matter of trying to find those. Not so easy. There's this book here. It's called Chess Openings for Juniors. Now, I know it says, it's like this. This is a thinner book. This is a really good book, because what this does is it plays the openings to about 10 or 20 moves, and then it goes through a few variations. It tells you the best ways to play the game from early on, Like, for example, if I want to learn the King's Indian defense, it's all on one page. The Queen's Indian defense, it's all on one page. Right there. 2 pages. You got the basics, okay? So when you learn an opening and you have to learn a defense, I'll say I play a certain opening and my opponent knows, like me, okay, I know what to play. I've seen that before. So I can play this. There it is, right there. It's all on one page. Now, it's not really all on one page, but the point is that, and this is written in double algebraic notation. For example, E7 goes to E5 instead of just E5 or whatever. Because I was looking at, I have a long list of notes about my opening and my defensive strategy. And we don't go through this whole book. This is a really good book, okay? We don't go through this. Let's see if the ready is in here. Let's see if the ready is in here. This is games, problems, indexes. Ready opening is on page 8695 and 140. Let's take a look at 86. Flank opening. So that's in response to the Grunfeld. The Benoni, the Grunfeld, the Ready, they have similarities. They're all in that list that I wrote. I wrote today earlier. So I've got an English opening, the Ready opening, knight from knight to f3, black plays d5, white plays c4. So it's like an English transposed to the Ready. There's some information here. It's not a lot. It's just some basic information. Like when we get there and we go to study that. Then we've got page 95. The second diagram can be reached from the King's Indian. The third diagram comes about after 11 moves of the Tarrasch variation of the French, which is something we're going to have to learn. The fourth diagram shows a typical position arising from Ready's opening. So this is into the game quite a few moves. Black's got an isolated c-pawn. White is not committed. His center pawns. He's got his bishops fianchettoed on either side of the board, etc. And the other one is 141. So here's a Ready opening game. And this is how to choose your openings. Playing black in flank openings. So it's talking about saying that when white plays fianchettoed bishops. So fianchettoed bishop is putting the bishop on the diagonal in front of that rook on one or both sides of the board. And there's some discussion there. So there's a little discussion in this book, see? So what we do is we pick an opening, we go through all of the books that we need to, and we put those moves into Fritz, and now we have an openings book, and then we can have Fritz analyze it with the different chess engines and that sort of thing. Another example would be this book here, which is only one of the books that I have, and as you can see, there's a bunch of papers in there. The Caracan in black and white. This is the whole, enchilada here. And as you can see, I've got a lot of games in this. Actually, what is this? There's a Panov attack. This is more advanced. There's the classical. He captures FX system. I'm warning you, I'm telling you. Look at this. You see this? there's a lot of stuff there. Like, are we gonna go over all of this? Am I gonna be able to go all over this stuff? You know, looks like I resigned in that game. This is a world open game. I'm not sure if I won. I think I lost that game too. I didn't do very good. Just sucks. You know, we're talking 60 move averages of what is that? 40 moves, you know. It's just hours and hours of just sitting there looking at that stupid chessboard, playing all of this just over and over, and your head is just spinning around like a freaking top, you know. So then we've got the Slav versus D4. This is I play D4 for white. This is that. I have a book on the Trompowsky attack, which is the bishop. Here's another. This is Caracan. It says beating the Caracan with the advanced variation. So this book tells, I guess it tells white how to win against the advanced or something. I don't really know, but I wanted to get down to this book, and then I'll talk a little bit more about some stuff. So the idea of the how is I have the repertoire. I have my repertoire for black and white, and they're not all kinds of openings. Black is the Caracan defense. Learn the basics of the Caracan. Number one. Number two, play C6 no matter what. Just play, set up that defensive structure. And there's reasoning behind it. If white wants to do his own thing, just let him do it, you know? The Caracan is kind of like a reverse idea of the London system, actually, when you think about it. Maybe we could do a variation and see what that looks like. So like I said, I've got the Nun's book down here, which is really thick, like this one. And that's got all kinds of openings and stuff. This one is called The Complete Chess Course by Fred Reinfeld. It says it's like thick, okay. Now, I don't know. I don't think this is just openings. I don't know what this is. Let's just take a look and see if it has the ready in here. Ready opening is on page 676. So what would we do is we'd go there. And 60. Ready opening and related systems. So when they're talking about related systems, they're talking about hang on here. They're talking about transposition. So you can transposition the Caracan defense into the French, or vice versa, maybe sometime, whatever. So here's a variation of the ready opening and versus the London system. Another pawn to queen 5 variation. King's Indian reversed. and I think the Catalan system. I believe that's one that I like. This opening features the fianchetto of white's king's bishop, as in the ready, and pawn to queen 4 as in the queen's gambit. It abounds in positional finesse that can prove fatal for black if he plays carelessly. So it goes into some moves. It looks to me like white is playing tactically. Yeah, white wants to control the center of the board without thinking too much about the end game, which is not, I think about the end game. So, what does this have for a table of contents? Basic rules of chess. The 9 bad moves. Neglecting development, exposing your king, making too many queen moves in the opening, grabbing pawns, weakening your castle position, getting pinned, failing to guard against captures, losing a 1 game. How to play white, how to play black, how to win when you're ahead, how to fight back, how to play king pawn openings, so for example, if we were to go, see, I know I play the Caracan, so I would go to there, and I would see how to play against the Caracan defense in that situation. How to play queen pawn openings. Ready, Catalan, English, Birds, Benoni, Grunfeld. Now there's all that stuff in there. So it's talking here some things about pawns, basic movement. Doesn't really. Inadequate checkmating. It doesn't really talk about end game. I think so. We'd go to this book and say, okay, it's got this opening, it's got this defense. We'll see what it talks about. Maybe a few other things. So it's a really thick book, but we can focus on exactly what it is that we're trying to do. The other things, so basically you have an opening and a defense, and then you play it with the idea of obtaining some kind of an end game that you prefer. So we're going to play through my game, and we're going to find out exactly all right, but let's not look at that just yet. Let's go ahead and so let's see. Okay, so I'm black. And what we can do is we can watch the alright, so if I'm black, what we're going to do is going to flip the board and watch how I played this game. I lost this game. So it looks like I played d5. So what I'm doing here is I'm playing d5 with the idea of c6, but I'm playing it to bring out my black bishop early, so I bring out my black bishop to to this position here. Now you can see already that black is showing really good. There's a 1 game here in this position on looking at the openings book. Fritz is invaluable. You absolutely need to have this program to understand the game. All these older chess players, they never had this computer stuff, and they just had to do this in their head. You know, now we got thousands of players that have played the game, and some players will try these obscure moves, and now you can see if white plays either bishop to g2, which is here, or knight to c3, which is here, black has an advantage somewhere. No, I don't see. So it might transpose. Let's see what. Let's see what Fritz says. Of course, Fritz says it's about equal. Now it's saying there's a 1 game here, because now it looks like white's going to play bishop to g2. But of course, this is the game itself. So somebody made a bad mistake somewhere along the line. Wouldn't that be something if that was actually my, well, it's not my game because I lost that game. So now this is a typical situation here. So we're still pretty equal. I probably blundered somewhere. Now, in my new strategy of playing this game, I would not trade my dark bishops. So the correct move would be knight to d7. c6 is played. But I don't like that move. Well, the queen can come up here. Since well, this bishop is off the beaten path. But the thing of it is that black needs to get rid of white's light-colored bishop, because all of black's pawns are going to be on light-colored squares. So that light bishop's got to go somehow. It's got to go. We can't trade it here because the knight's guarding that square. But it's got to go. Let's see what we got here. So I opted for c6. That's actually in the opening book. I wonder if that's just my game. Just my game. Wait a minute. It should be Fritz 17. It's saying that black should capture that pawn with the option that white captures with the bishop. Wait, bishop captures at f6 at white. How the hell does he do that? Right here, see? Knight captures at e4. Shut up. Now see? Here I would trade off that light bishop. Okay. Then I would have a problem. Let's say if the knight comes here and I move the bishop here. Knight takes, bishop takes, bishop takes, queen takes. White's bishops, all the bishops are off the board, and we're playing with a knight. It's possible if black can play this pawn up here to b4 to prevent this, then they can just attack there. I was trying to think, is there a possible way to get the isolated queen pawn? I don't see it. So it ends up being pawn structure versus pawn structure. I would have to take with the pawn. In fact, black can't do that trade because of this pawn. So trade, here, trade, and takes with the pawn. That pushes the bishop back. Now the other thing here is we don't want to trade this dark bishop right here. This is our good bishop. We don't want to trade our good bishop for white's bad bishop. We don't want to do that. So we have to bring this other knight into action and try to get a knight bishop trade. So that's a tactic, see? That's an idea. That's what you work on the whole game. You know? It's crazy. I didn't like the idea of taking that pawn. Oh, it's showing black is way ahead here. What am I missing? I must have missed something. That's saying that the white pushing that pawn. Why not knight takes? Let's do a variation. Oh, no, I can't take that, can I? Bishop's just sitting there. Unless if I come up here and attack. Bishop captures f6. Puts black way ahead. Queen a5 check. It just says black is slightly better. Bishop captures g2 check. Queen captures d4. Now, let's go to my, well, let's see here. So, I should have played queen to d5. I don't know why there's two things here. I must have played for check. And it was a mistake. What I needed to play was queen to d5. It pins the knight and attacks the bishop. Well, it doesn't really attack the bishop because the knight's sitting there. Oh, actually, the knight's not pinned now, and that's putting two pieces on the knight, and the knight's not pinned. I probably didn't play that. Ed is a fast mover. I missed pinned knight and white e5 allowed. Oh, I missed pinned knight and I allowed white to e5, which is kind of strange why I would say that. But I also missed queen to d. You know, this is what Fritz is for. Okay, so this is not too many moves into the game. Now I could say I recognize this position from whatever the heck game it was I played, you know. And I know now, I know why I want to trade the bishops. I haven't really discussed that reason why, but I know why. But I know now that moving the queen was a better move. Queen to d5, knight f4. I don't know why this is in here. How did he win so quick? Bishop to d2. Huh. I don't know. King's Indian attack versus Caracan. Yeah, I don't know. I must have not annotated the rest of the game or something. Knight f6, knight captures, g captures. White is slightly better. Black has a decisive advantage in this position. Knight captures, bishop to e3. Oh, that's strange. Huh. Wait, what? King to e2. So does black trade down now? White's got a king and a queen, a rook and a minor piece. I've got a rook and two minor pieces. So I would say black should trade. So in the effort of trading, he's gaining a move. So now white can place all the black can place all the pawns on white squares and effectively take the black bishop out of the game. So black will have a knight, a free roaming bishop on dark squares, and a knight and a rook. White's got the pawn, which could this pawn could kick out. So they're saying I should go ahead and move queen to g2. Let's just capture. Black is still ahead because he's ahead in material pieces, but not as good. Queens are devastating against pawns on the board. Just saying. No, that's not a good move. Black should just trade down. Queen to b5 check. You see what's happening here? So black's using the queen to do a check to get maneuvering and just knock out these other pieces. But now the rook can't come over. Oh, black could castle on the queen side, and it's pretty much over. I don't know why that move. Now my question would be, can I play against... How's that going to go in the database? I don't know how to play. I don't actually know how to play a game on here. How do I... Copy. Copy. Okay, I did it. All right, so now I can castle. Now we're playing against the computer. And I guess he can take all day to think. We could trade off that bishop for the knight. Then I'd have to move the knight back. I want to keep my dark bishop. Now we're playing the computer. So we want to try to exchange because we're ahead in material. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. It's crazy. Yeah, of course it's new. Sad and blue, it's new. I gotta come up with a plan here. I don't really have one. I had to put the knight to the outside of the board. Yeah, I could put it back here. Bishops are strong behind the opponent's pawns. The king will have to come back here. You're darn straight, baby. My head itches. Yeah, you have, haven't you? We probably got to take the king to the outside of the board. That's what I'm thinking. I think we're good here. There's only one passed pawn, and that's this G pawn. The knight can't be pushed off. Yeah, I know. And that white square happens to be a queening square. I kind of like this game because of the chit chat. It's kind of humorous. Wait, is it my move? I don't even know what they did. Oh, I guess he brought this other pawn up. Now I could even sacrifice a piece. I could even sacrifice a piece if I wanted to. Yeah, right. I like moving the bishop out, you know? Or do I? Yeah, I do like that idea. But I can't get... I could sacrifice. Let's see. I did this. He takes... He's got a bishop up there. Or I could trade the dark bishop here off of that square. So white can't trade down. If you're down in material, you never trade down. Yeah. Now the king, now there's a wall here. there's definitely a wall. So if the knight sacrifices, I could make a wall. Let's see here. There's an entry point right here. I could have moved here to take the diagonal opposition, but I don't want the king to come down on that dark square. Yeah, I'm sure you do. Check. If I go here, he's going to grab this pawn. He's supposed to stay in front of the advanced pawn. But if I do that, the king goes here. If I go here and he goes here, I go here. I have to go here. Then he'll be in zugzwang. So zugzwang is where any move that the opponent makes is a bad move. If I go here immediately, and he goes here, and then I take here, I take and he takes. Now I'm in front of the king and the pawn. And that should be a stalemate position. Yeah, that should be a stalemate. Let's just go here. So I've calculated. Yeah, so I've calculated a stalemate with an exchange of a pawn. White only has one move. White has to move the king forward. It's got no choice. So if I guarded this square with the knight, yeah. How could I guard that square here? I could put him in check. Yeah, I could get him in zugzwang. Hopefully I can hold a stalemate. If I go here, it goes here. I could put him in check. No, I'm in check. I go here, goes here. He's opposing. He can pass the pawn. Here. Here, here. Here, here. Well, he's got to take the pawn. Knights, like this knight's very powerful against these two pawns. So I could attempt to pass a pawn. I've got two pawns against one over here. Check. Here, check. Takes, take. Well, he can't take it. That knight is extremely powerful. Extremely. He could put me in check. I could move. I could move up. I could move the king up, and then he'll be in zugzwang. And what I'll have to do, I'll keep the king here, sack the knight over in the middle. I gotta pass a pawn somehow over here. Now the king might. He might go to try to attack my pawns because I won't have winning material, you know, which is not good. He's behind my pawns. Okay. Let's do this move. Yeah, you damn right. Straight, you're on your own because I'm gonna win. See that sometimes you gotta play aggressive. You can only play defensive for so long. If you don't, you know. Yeah, right. Now I've got to have the pawn outside of the square. I have to have the king outside of the square. So I have to move here. He takes, I take. I think this wins. If I go here, he takes, I go here. Yeah, I think this wins. Yeah, I think this wins. here, here, here. Yeah, he can't catch that pawn. And his king will be in front of here. Let's see. I could just take that with impunity. It's been a while. Yeah, you can have my knight. I don't care. Jeez. Did he move? Yeah, it's new, all right. What do I do here? I did good. I had a little advantage, but hey, you know. I think we can safely say it's going to be game over, huh? I beat the Fritz engine, baby. Now, in a situation like this, I generally play my queen like a rook. Yeah, I did. But I gotta be careful not to put this guy in stalemate, you know? So we just play it like a rook. Uh-oh. Did I just stalemate? I just stalemated. What an idiot. Did the game, like, just stop? I just stalemated the game. Yeah, I can be serious, because I don't want to stalemate. If I go there, if I go here, it's a stalemate. Jeez. I'll just make that a new main line. Thank you. I'm tired, man. I'm just tired. Now it's all over but the crying. Yeah, it's game over. Anyway, like I was saying, what does it say? The tools you need, just my way. Yep. You gotta have books. You gotta have Fritz for analyzing your chess games. Um, Annotating your games, you know, when you play the games, you gotta be able to annotate your games. Why is this screwed up here? Oh, I can't go back any further? Huh. That doesn't matter. Let's see, what else? So you can have different opening books. I have, let's see, I got a database, which is terribly long, that has Dutch London system. Database, file, open database. This is Sicilian defense. Nothing in there. That's just a message there. You can put shit in there. I'm tired. I probably won't play this tonight. Here's one here. So there's a bunch of games. You could do the result. Oh, there's no draws. So here's games where black wins. I can't double. So if I knew the ECO for a Caracan, I could find. I think it's B14. Yeah, hello. Well, this does look like it's in order, doesn't it? The ECO is in order somehow. I don't play this game. Shit. So this would be, if I play, white plays to advance that pawn. This is called the advanced variation. I normally play, oops, what? Yeah, that's what I play. So this is really good for black. This is good for my game. I probably should have played the bishop out further. Why not play it out here? No, I want to play here. Now I'm out of the book already. I'm out of that openings book. What if we used... Oh God, I don't want to do that. Yeah, see, I'd have to have a bigger openings book. So when I play black, this is good for me. Black would tend to. What is this? The next move? Let's see. Is white's move? White is ahead by half a point. But anyway, what else? What else did I want to talk about? I streamed for an hour and a half. So I talked about all the books, how we're gonna do the studying. We're gonna look at the openings, a basic idea about the openings, my repertoire, and the reason why my opening. That'll be covered in the next video. Um, no tactics or strategy or anything like that. We're just going to look at some basic openings, and I'll probably do that with Chess Master. I think I'm done. Have a nice day, y'all.